Easter Uprising. A GoFundMe page, which has been established to help the family of an Ahmadi Muslim shopkeeper in Scotland, has surpassed its £1,500 goal by a factor of over 100 times as of this writing. 40-year-old Asad Shah, who owned and operated the Man of Peace shop in Glasgow, was stabbed in the head and stomped by an assailant on Holy Thursday, just hours after he posted Easter wishes to his Christian friends on a social media site. Asad had adopted Scotland as his home after emigrating from the Pakistani city of Rabwa. Mr. Shah survived the initial attack, but expired hours later in hospital. Mr. Shah's post read simply, "Good Friday and very happy Easter, especially to my beloved Christian nation X." A silent vigil was held in Mr. Shah's honor outside of his place of business on Good Friday evening. Days later, a Sunni Muslim man who had traveled 200 miles to Glasgow was arrested in connection with the murder. Extreme in 2016, or not so much. This describes the marketing strategy across multiple social media platforms planned by Bishop Ricky Moore of the Sunrise Baptist Church of Shreveport, Louisiana. The plan was to reenact the alleged crucifixion and subsequent resurrection of the Savior over Easter weekend. The drama was supposed to include Bishop Moore posing upon a cross, himself modestly portraying Christ, between two other members of the congregation, playing the roles of the two robbers supposedly crucified alongside Jesus of Nazareth. Speaking to a paper of the USA Today network, Moore promised a 4-part departure from the typical Easter program, in which he vowed to seal himself in a coffin to emulate the deceased status of a savior in a constructed tent tomb. But the casket idea itself perished and was not resurrected. After a sunny weather forecast, Moore decided to simply lie on a blue cot with a space heater over the course of 36 hours from Good Friday to Easter Sunday. Church members witnessing the Sunday spectacle reported a feeling of God's grace shining down on them as their faith was reaffirmed. Moore successfully resurrected to perform services on the Sunday. Quote, "The Lord gave me a vision, and because of the vision he gave me, I stepped out on faith," Moore explained. Apparently, the Lord's original vision did not include the fact that real people cannot survive inside sealed coffins for 36 hours. Thus, revisions became necessary. Abraham's God. Who is the God of Abraham Lincoln? This is a question implied during a recent interview from scientific luminary James Watson, in a discussion where he deemed it too simplistic to describe his religious views as those of a lifelong atheist. Watson expresses his faith in humanity as the originator of both morality and religion. In a recent Time magazine interview, the scientist described an early life growing up in a non-religious household in the 1930s, with a segue into the formative years of humanity, growing up with religion as an explanatory tool for the natural world. Despite attending Mass as a child for the sole purpose of placating an elderly grandmother, Watson goes on to describe his own eventual rejection of religious reasoning, while hinting at the possibility that the rest of humanity could one day follow suit. His own father, despite winning awards for church attendance from an Episcopalian congregation, felt his faith in a supreme being beginning to wane during college. His son, the co-discoverer of DNA, only accelerated this example, rejecting the need for an all-knowing godlike creator of our physical world by age 11. In Watson's view, scientific and humanistic knowledge is the best path towards embracing man's altruistic tendency. While citing both jihads and crusades as examples of man's worst instincts. But he has some nice words to say for current clerics, citing Pope Francis as today's superhero of the world's downtrodden. But for the gods themselves, James Watson explains that humanistic figures such as Abraham Lincoln were following the better angels of their own human brains. And that's why Watson puts his faith in human gods while supplying a $1,000 check for the Bernie Sanders presidential campaign.